Hi guys, I wanted to welcome you back to the second half of the school year. It is officially 2019, and I wanted to start off by going through some more new books. So this is another book look video, and then I also just have some other miscellaneous information to give to you at the end. So, new books. I have 4 new sports fiction books, 1 by Mike Lupica, 3 by Tim Green. So I'll just kind of show each one of those and hold them up. Tim Green and Mike Lupica are very similar. The plot always revolves around one main character who's usually having issues with that sport that the book is about, with family or friends, with coaches. There's usually something going on with their family dynamics or their life. And then there's also that heavy emphasis on the athleticism. So the new book by Mike Lupica is called No Slam Dunk. And then the 3 that I picked up for you guys by Tim Green are Lost Boy, New Kid, and Touchdown Kid. So like I said, those are for people who like to read sports fiction. My others, let's go through this stack here. I want to start with a book titled Resistance by Jennifer A. Nielsen. So this is historical fiction. Its emphasis is on World War II. So Jennifer Nielsen also writes some other historical fiction books. Most notably, the one that we have here in our library, which would be a read-alike to this, is A Night Divided. That is also a World War II historical fiction book. She also writes some fantasy, so if you have read The False Prince, then you're kind of familiar with that aspect of her. So she kind of is able to write across genres. She's not just stuck in one. So Resistance is going to focus on World War II. It was actually one of the books that was highlighted in the book fair highlights video, if you watch that. This book has a main character who is a Jewish teenager, and she decides to...
Rusty, could you come to the office, please? Rusty, to the office.
That was the intercom. She decides to join the Resistance. The Resistance was a movement of Jews or Jew supporters who often worked against the Nazis, and they did this by trying to smuggle documents, maybe destroy or steal supplies, sometimes even moving, like trafficking the Jews, other people to safe spots. So the main character decides to join this resistance, and you are going to read about the challenges that she encounters when doing so. I love World War II historical fiction, and I know there's a lot of you students out there that do too, so this would be a really good one to check out. It's called Resistance. The next one I'm going to show you is titled Restart, and it is by Gordon Korman. So Restart is going to be more of a humorous or realistic fiction book. The main character is a teenage boy named Chase, and he falls off of a roof and bumps his head, which causes amnesia. So he wakes up in the hospital and he doesn't remember hardly anything. So he basically has to restart, hence the name of the title, and he has to figure everything out again. For instance, there's kids at school that don't like him and he doesn't know why. But it also gives him a chance to kind of figure out, well, maybe I can be somebody else now, and he kind of gets a second chance. So Restart by Gordon Korman. Kind of have some crazy hair going on. The next book I want to talk about is called Hideout, and this is by Watt Key. So we have other books by this author. If you have read Alabama Moon, 4 Mile, or Terror at Bottle Creek, then you are familiar with Watt Key. He writes very good suspense, drama, realistic fiction. Usually there's kind of an element to the outdoors twisted in there somewhere. So this one is called Hideout, In this book, the main character is a 12-year-old boy named Sam who lives with his dad. His dad is a cop. He inherits a fishing boat, but he doesn't actually like to fish. Instead, he takes the boat out into the swamp, and he just likes to go exploring. And rumor has it in their town that there's a dead body somewhere out in the swamp. So he likes to go in his boat out exploring to see if he can find this dead body. He actually ends up meeting a boy named Davy, and Davy is working on repairing this like shack cabin in the wilderness. And as him and Davy kind of become friends and start talking, he begins to grow a little suspicious of Davy and thinks that there's more to Davy's story than what he's letting on. So this is Hideout. The next book I have for you here is by a new author to us. We don't have anything by her, so this is kind of like a debut for our collection, and it's called The Trail, and this is by Mika Hashimoto. So in The Trail, there's two best friends, Toby and Lucas, and they love to do things outdoors together, and they make almost like a bucket list of things that they want to do. And for reasons that you'll learn as you read the book, Lucas is no longer able to do these things with Toby. So Toby decides, I'm going to go ahead and do this last thing on our bucket list, which was to hike the Appalachian Trail. So the book kind of flashes back and forth between Toby and Lucas's activities and moments together, you know, in the past, and then it'll jump forward to the future where Toby is currently on the Appalachian Trail hiking. Obviously, there's lots of survival things, you know, food, water, sleeping outside in the wilderness or in a tent, bears, predators, things that you encounter in the wild. And then there's also the backstory of, well, what happened to Lucas? Why isn't he with him anymore? So it does kind of jump around back and forth. I like books like that. I know sometimes it makes it a little harder for you guys to read. So this is a really good kind of like suspense, outdoors, survival, adventure. So this one's called The Trail. Next, we have a scary horror book by one of our favorites here, which is Mary Downing Hahn. This one is called The Girl in the Locked Room. Not a really big descriptor on this one other than a family moves into an older house and the daughter notices that she keeps seeing a face in the upstairs window. So she is determined to get to know the girl in the locked room, and you'll find out her story. So if you like Mary Downing Hahn, if you like scary ghost stories, come check this one out. The last one I'm going to show you here real quick is actually a graphic novel. This one is titled, have to look at it here, The Creepy Case Files of Margot Malou, and this is by Drew Wing. So this is a new author. This is a new graphic novel for us. I kind of flipped through it briefly. Basically, there's a character here whose name is Charlie, and he moves into a new building in this city, and the city has monsters kind of running around and causing chaos and disruption. And Margot here is a like monster mediator / monster detective, and she is going to help Charles out. So it looks like it's cute, but I would say this is probably good for like 6th grade reluctant readers. I think 7th and 8th graders are probably looking for something maybe a little bit more grown up or a little bit more mature than this. So this is a new graphic novel, which means it will be on the back graphic novel shelf. So those are just some more new books I'm going to set out for you guys. That way you can check them out whenever you come back to school on Monday. 2 other things that I want to talk about real quick with you. So January's library challenge is going to be to check out a book or books on our virtual library using Sora. So if you go into the Dutchman Essentials folder on your Chromebook, you will see a link for Sora on there, okay? It is very, very easy to check an ebook out. All you have to do is enter your Novell information in, which is the same as your Lightspeed information. So it is your student ID number and then your password that you use for Lightspeed. It's that same password you use for your school email. You find a book you like, you enter in that information, boom, it's checked out to you. You have 2 weeks to read it. You can log into any Chromebook. So if you check it out on a Chromebook in Mr. Powers' class, and then later on in the day you are in Miss Stockton's class, you can get on that different Chromebook, log into the Sora app, and your book is still there. You can also download the free Sora app on your phone or tablet if you are somebody that likes to read at home and you would want to have it with you all the time. You can do that too. So this challenge will start on Monday the 7th. It will go to the 31st. On the 31st, I'll run a report. It'll show me everybody that checked out a book from Sora for that time period, and I'll draw a winner. So again, January's library challenge is just to check out an ebook on Sora. So remember, Dutchman Essentials, you'll see it. If you need help, come see me in the library. Yeah. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the way the library looks. Some of you noticed this before Christmas break, but the 2 couches are gone. They were getting a little shabby and worn out, kind of on their last leg. And instead, what we're trying to do is get a spot in that same area with some like puzzles and some STEAM type related activities for you guys. So I am working on that. It currently looks like it is a project in progress because that's what it is. But my hopes is that I'll kind of have like a nice makerspace station for you guys over there. So I'm sorry that the couches are gone, but hopefully you will like what I am replacing it with. Other than that, I think that's it. So I will see you guys next time I make a video. Bye.